Hi everybody. How's everybody doing? Good, good. I heard a lot of questions on Facebook and Instagram earlier. So I'm Pinky. I represent Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. We all actually one whole big company together, right? And I have to actually say thank you to the panel earlier. Thank you for answering all the questions. So I'm going to kickstart a little bit on talking a few things today. I will talk about some of the 3 key consumer trends that we've been seeing on our platform. Right, today I'll be talking a lot more on Facebook platform. One of the first things that I have to say is consumer are mobile first. Right? If you hear anyone say, oh, consumer are going on mobile, consumer are getting to mobile, it's not true. If I can see a raise of hand, how many of you guys here have 2 phones? Right? Oh, not many. There's still quite a lot of you guys. And when you wake up this morning, the first thing, what do? You reach out for your phone. Right? Every morning, that's all you have been doing. Right? So that's where everyone have been. And what we have seen in APAC itself, about 173 minutes of your day are actually spent on smartphone. Actually, I think the number is even more for Malaysia, right? If you observe yourself, you are constantly on your mobile phone. Just don't do it while you're driving. But we have seen that, more and more time people are spending on smartphone, and that's very important for your business to understand also, when you're on smartphone. So if we look at it, this is actually our daily life, right? How we look at it. You wake up, you get ready. I hope everyone wake up at 6, right? You have a breakfast, you're on your mobile phone, you play with Facebook, maybe you want to read all the latest news. You're on Instagram, trying to see what kind of breakfast you would like to eat. You drive to work, hopefully don't check your phone then. But we are all Malaysian. When we're stuck in traffic, we take out our phone too, to see why is there traffic at that place, right? Then you have a meeting, check email. So this is our entire journey a day. Facebook have done a research. We actually unlock our mobile phone 150 times a day, right? And what we have seen is that on average, people check Facebook 14 times. With that, what it shows is also that we are not just a one screen. We don't just look on mobile. We also look on desktop. We also look on, into tablets itself. So what we call ourselves, we are actually a multi-screen user. So this is also another proof point that we are already on mobile. Right. So the next thing is video. I think you guys was talking a lot about video earlier. Video is exploding, right? What we say exploding is everyone wants to watch a video. But the best part is everyone can also be a video content creator. You have your phone, you take out your phone, you can shoot a video straight away, right? And what we have seen here is actually people who are mobile users are more likely to view a video, right, through their mobile phone. And people spend 5 times more with video content compared to an image. And that's very common, right? Because as a video content, it kind of sucks you in. You actually want to learn more about it. You want to see more about that. So that's the unique part of a video content. And like what I shared earlier, oops, something happened? Okay. Yeah, like what I shared earlier, right? There's so many billion users of smartphone, and what happened is that everyone is actually a content creator now. Right? Tomorrow, like I think Clement shared earlier, you can even just take out your mobile phone, right, to shoot a video, because that's the beauty of it. And what we have seen is that because of the smartphone growth, a lot more people start posting video on Instagram, on Facebook, right? So if you're thinking for your business, how do you utilize some of those ideas, you yourself as a user, to create video too for your products? Then the next thing is consumer now demand instant experiences. We are a bit impatient, right? So we actually just kind of want things to be faster. When we did a research, what we have seen that 40% of a consumer will abandon a site if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. Yeah, I saw someone nodding because we are exactly like that, right? I was like, oh, this is not loading. I'm just going to skip it. I'll buy it another time. I'll think about it. So if you're a business, think about how do you capture those attention quickly. And if you think further, whether you're on a news feed, Instagram, or on Facebook, we call it thumb stopping, right? You see, when you scroll through, you see something you like, you stop. Right? And you only take like 1.7 seconds to consume that information. Oh, I like my friend picture. Oh, I like this product. I want to watch more of this video. So we actually are a very smart creature, and we actually consume things faster and faster. So how do you also adapt to that when it comes to creative and ideas to reach out to your consumer? Because those things are important. So what we have seen is that, we're lucky for us, Facebook is actually at the center of the shift. We actually see more and more people on it. And I actually put the number for APAC here, which is 690 million users. It's just to share that, if you're a business, it's not just about targeting to Malaysia. We have 22 million users in Malaysia, but we have the world for you to target. It's almost like borderless itself, if you don't mind bringing your business to overseas, right? So some number that, just within closer to home, like Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, Taiwan, all of this could be your potential market. And what we want you guys to think about is, you want to build a business, and sometimes it's hard, there's a lot of competition in Malaysia. How do you also export your business out? How do you run ads and reach out to consumer there? Especially if you're e-com, right? I mean, anything is possible right now. But this is a good insight to see that, your consumer might not just be sitting in Malaysia. They could be from Taiwan. They could be from Singapore, right? Yeah, so I think a lot of things on Facebook have changed. Today I have a really short time, so I can't share with you everything that Facebook have done. But then, maybe 5 years ago, what happened is that a lot of time people think about Facebook, they think about like, comment, share, and engagement. Yes, that is what for user. But when you're a business, we want to help you to get awareness, to get reach yourself, right? To get conversion. At the end of the day, to get someone buy your products, right? So what I'm going to go through after this is how are we able to help to capture some of your consumer on mobile, right? So we want to be there at every stage of your consumer journey, and the most important part is transaction. I'm not sure if you guys have seen some of our ad solution. Like when it comes to awareness, we think a lot about videos, right? Because those capture attention a lot. We also have something that's called Canvas that can help you to create more awareness or options for people to understand about your product. It's almost like a mobile microsite. That's what it's called, Canvas. If you're a company that want to get lead generation, we also have lead generation itself, right? And if any of your business is a mobile app, you can also try out mobile app. And the last one is transaction, which is most important. So to us, we don't focus on like, comment, share. We focus on what will really give you real business results. And we have tools to help you to get to there. So today, I'm going to talk another thing, 3 strategy that will actually help you get the most out of your consumer on mobile. And the first one, I think it's very important to know where the people present. We already shared that, a lot of people are on Facebook, on Instagram, even on WhatsApp itself. And how to understand their consumer consumption behavior. If you know where they are, what they're doing, how do you be part of their life too? And the last one is make creative that connects to them. At the end of the day, your creative need to connect with them. If it does not, then they'll be like, oh, you're showing me the same image for the last 10 times. Do I still want to buy your products? Because we are very visual creatures, right? How do we have creative that could make you connect to the person? So when we talk about where the people are, actually people like to control what they watch, right? We are sitting in front of TV and we'll sit there for 30 seconds to watch the ad, right? We like to watch certain video, even if it's an ad, if it's a good ad, I don't mind watching it, right? It's not about long or short, but it's the content, whether do I want to consume it, right? And what we have seen is that most of the user will actually customize their screen. Even my dad also customized his screen, his mobile screen, what is the app that he wants to use, what is the app he doesn't want to use, right? So it's very important to understand what are people doing right now. And what we would say, there's no such thing as captive audience. It's no longer about, okay, I'm going to capture your audience. I'm going to make sure you are there, right? What we see is that what does people want to consume? We have seen 50% of the video come from tablets and smartphone. So a lot of time, I'm going to show you some creative later. How do we build for mobile first? Because everything is already mobile first. And what we have seen here, people actually like to share their video, right? You have got that on your Messenger, you have got that on your WhatsApp, on Facebook. So people actually like to share the video if they enjoy watching the video. So on today's session, just want to quickly run through this. Think about what kind of, if you're going to run ads on Facebook, what kind of campaign objective could actually help to achieve for your business. Next thing, very important, who is your customer? Yes, there's 22 million Facebook user, which is almost 90% of the internet user in Malaysia. Do you need to capture everyone? No. You know who's your target audience. How do you reach out to them? And the last thing, get the creative that help you to succeed. Right. So how do you choose the right objective? We have all kinds of objective here. I'm not going to go through it today, everything, but always understand what will help your business. Is it to get a lead gen? Is it to get a mobile app install? Is it to get a website conversion? Those things are very important. It's no longer about, okay, I'll buy likes so that people will like my post. It's not like that, right? That's not how consumers behave. Yeah. And also, in Facebook itself, we want to look for the people who convert. So there's a lot of people, like I said, there's 22 million people. Some like to click on things, some just like to watch video, and some are truly your shopper, your customer. So when you want to target, you want to make sure you select the right objective so that we could look for the right person for you. Right? At the end of the day, every person have different interests. And then how do you find the right customer? When you think about finding the right customer, we have very powerful targeting tools, from location to what country, to what city you're from, what's your demographics, because that's very important. 18 years old might like a different thing from a 28 to a 38 years old. I mean, we are not trying to target from 18 to 68. There's maybe might be a McDonald's target audience, right? And also an interest. What's the interest? You know, a person can have multiple interests. I could like fashion, travel, cars, right? So what is the interest that I could have? Yeah, and then different behaviors. So those are very important things to think about when you're going to build your target audience. So some things I will talk a little bit more on. The core target audience is where I just mentioned, custom and lookalike. So custom audience, if you have your customer phone number, email, you can easily plug it on the system and we can target them for you. Lookalike is looking for people who are very similar to your customer, right? So we can also do that. And what's important next? Pixel is important. What Pixel is, Pixel actually helps you to, you can put out a code into your website and we can actually help you track your ads. If you spend $50 on Facebook, actually how many of them went to your website and buy something? So that's what Facebook Pixel can do. It actually just to help you to track your ads and make sure that you get your ROI itself. All right, so I'm going to go down to creative itself. How many of you here can show of hands, make your own creative? Oh, I saw 1, 2, quite a fair bit, right? So just to show you now, right, like people consume more and more on mobile is video, like what I have shared, right? And 62% of all these people actually report that they check their phone a lot of times. So it's also video that are capturing people, and how do we connect that to creative, right? Because mobile feed is very fast, very frequent, and a little bit sound off, right? If anyone here is watching a video, you won't turn on your sound because you're in an open space. So a lot of time you watch video with sound off. What I'll do is to run through some creative examples that could give you guys idea what's happening, right? So again, we need to understand consumer. You know, we behave 2.5 seconds there. We behave 1.7 seconds on mobile itself. And what happened is that the content message has shifted quite a lot. So previously, if anyone have done a TV ad, your message come out at the end of the TVC. But right now, we need to shift it to the front. How do we tell someone something within 5 seconds? Because those are very important messages, right? So these are like some creative tips that we have. How do you capture people's audience and deliver your message within 15 seconds? Nothing more than that, right? Because we don't have that much of attention span. How do you design for sound off? But a little bit delightful with sound on if someone turn on the sound. How do you build your stories? And the last thing, how do you play more with the format itself, right? So I'm going to show you, oops. Yeah, so I'm going to show you an example of how to capture attention quickly. Doesn't need to have sound. Got your attention. And can you imagine if this closer to you, you look like the chips exploding? And then how do you tell a story, like create a little bit suspense. This is actually for 11/11 day sales. Yeah. Then how do you work with, we also work with Japan Airline. Yeah. So it's all zooming to capture attention. The end goal here is like, you know, you're on the news feed, something you saw, and you actually want to pay more attention to it. That's one trick to it, capturing people's attention, right? Then the next one, how do you design for sound off? Not everyone turn on their sound on their phone. So for an example, this. Yes, we do have a certain tax penalty, but in a video, if you use your text well, it will really help to tell your story, right? And if you look at the second one, how do you use short one, just quick one? It's almost like a GIF, like it takes like 3 seconds for the creative to come out. And this one, they use different video, but they overlay with team taxi, first date taxi, just things like that to explain a little bit more about the creative. And this one, this video is like a loop, right? And all they have is 200 mm ground clearance, which is done by Ford itself. So how do you play with words, but not putting a whole paragraph of things there? Is to help to supplement some part of your creative content. Right. So the next one is how do you frame your story? So a lot of time, you know, video are being created horizontally, like the one that I'm showing you. But what we suggest is, how do you shoot video that are like square or even vertical format itself, right? Because by taking up more space, you can capture people's attention more. So I think that's one really good way to think about. I think a lot of time when someone produces a video, they like to shoot it horizontal because that's how camera is most of the time, right? But now you can do it with your phone, right? I mean, you can see the billboard that they said shot by iPhone, right? So your iPhone is actually in a really high quality mode, okay? So it's not about the quality itself. Yeah. And what we have seen that people actually recall your ad or recall your product better when actually they view things that are on vertical instead of horizontal, right? So the next one I want to share with you is how do you play more with creative? Like for an example with this lace, like you can see that this client actually put a bit of white space there to make it feel like the lace are coming out. Then McDonald's itself, okay, doesn't seem to be loading. Yeah, McDonald's itself, they draw white lines on their video just to kind of create that dimension. So it looks like someone is serving you, together also with Honda, right? So it looks like a really nicely done video, but I can tell you that video, they actually just draw like a few white lines when they do the editing, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of times we find it really hard to make video. So for an example, like here, you know, how Carousel, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Carousel. We work with Carousel too. So there I have all these images, and we're like, hey, how about trying to push your creative to work a little bit harder? Okay, the slides. Can someone help me? Okay, thank you. This thing doesn't seem to be working. So what I want to show you is like, how do you think about video? A lot of time we create video and it's like, oh, I need to create a video. But what's the reason you create a video, right? So for the first one here, it's what we call a basic motion video. It's just sort of a loop of the video keep coming out. Same thing, right? Then the next one, we focus on the brand, which shows Carousel. You should always be selling for yourself. If you put another brand name, you could be selling for someone else. And what's the benefit? Why do I need to use Carousel? Okay, can't fit me anymore, don't want to wear it. But if I sell it, I get money. That's what Carousel is about. And then the last one, demonstration. If your product is a little bit more complex, how do you demonstrate to people that, you know, this is how you use a product? So it's actually 4 very simplified video, but with very clear messaging. One is just very basic, doesn't say much. One is a logo, because you should always be selling for your own brand. And then one's a benefit and one is a demonstration. So when you think about making creative, each of the creative should have a certain reason to it, why, right? And what I know is that sometimes when we talk about creative, oops, maybe you can go back one more slide? Sorry, technical error, guys. Can you go back to one more slide? Okay, after this. I think this thing doesn't work. It always happened to me. Okay, so I want to show you guys. These are videos that are made in 5 minutes. I'm not joking. That one is basically 5 images put together to turn into a video. And then this one is just using, if you guys have heard of Boomerang app can just shoot a video for you, right? I remember Clement mentioned earlier, buy some color paper, buy some nice lighting, you know, your selfie cam lighting. All of this could actually help you to make a video. And these 3 videos make within 5 minutes. So it's not hard, it's not complex, it's just whether you want to try it out, right? So if you forget everything I say, this is a really important slide. You know, if you have to develop your own creative or so on, here are some recommendations. We don't own the apps, but what the apps that we have used that we find it really helpful, right? Like from Video Shop to Legend, even Instagram stories. I've seen people using the Boomerang and then later they crop their video. So what are different ways to use some of all this app to create some of the creative? Yeah, so check it out. Can easily just try it out. Use some of your pictures, stitch them together, you have a video. It's not as hard as it looks. All of us are quite creative. So these are the 3 things that I just kind of want you guys to remember. You know, be there, because all your consumers are there. You just kind of need to kind of understand how they're spending their time, you know, who are really your audience, and make creative that actually connects to everyone. And this is also another slide. If you forget everything I say today, this is one of the most important things. You know, if you really want to learn more about Facebook, we can go to Facebook Blueprint. Everything, right, is our updated e-learning center. Facebook have a lot of new things. We have new product launches every I would say every other day, including I remember someone was talking about IGTV. We have real-time business support, right? So you can go to that link. We have a chat support during working hours. We have email support. If you have spent $1 with us, you will definitely get a support. Most of the time, right? And we have Help Center. Facebook at the end of the day is a self-serve platform. We hope to be able to help to reach out to as many advertisers as possible. Our team is quite small, so a lot of our resources are already online. And the last one, if you really want to hear more about success story, how people have used Facebook, big business, small business, I work with startups too, right? You can see all our business stories there, success story. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
And thank you, Pinky Thumb, ladies and gentlemen, the partner manager of Facebook.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.